Just 4 weeks after a gunman had murdered 12 people in Cumbria, another deranged killer was on the loose. This time in the genteel woods and lanes of the next-door county, Northumbria.
Hello there, this is the gunman from Berkeley last night. My name is Raoul Moat. I'm coming to get you. I'm not on the run. I am coming to get you.
Armed with a sawn-off shotgun and a bag of homemade bullets, Raoul Moat murdered a man he didn't know, blinded another he'd never met, and maimed the woman he claimed to love.
Get it, you killed me. You killed me and him before that trigger was ever pulled. So you wanted me to kill myself, but I'm going to give you a chance, because I am hunting for officers now.
Moat's rampage sparked one of the biggest manhunts in British police history. But still he managed to evade capture for 7 terror-filled days, threatening that innocent members of the public would die. In a bloody final act, he dodged justice by turning his gun on himself. Durham Prison, 2010. Incarcerated among the murderers, rapists and robbers was a mountain of a man, Raoul Moat. A former bodybuilder and nightclub doorman, 37-year-old Moat was coming towards the end of an 18-week sentence for battering a young child. But Moat, a father of 5, claimed it was he who was the victim of continual police harassment.
In his mind, he was certainly being victimised. I don't think it was an official police policy to victimise Raoul, but I think that he probably did have some grievances which might have been genuine.
Inside him, he had this burning hatred of the police, and nothing could change Moat in his feelings about the police.
It was by no means a high priority offender or target for the police. It was somebody who, you know, would show up on our radar. He had been arrested something like 12 times over a 10-year period, which I would suggest isn't that excessive. But he was also known for some of his domestic dealings with former partners, domestic incidents where the police were involved.
Raoul Moat saw himself as being persecuted by the social services. He recorded hours of conversations with officials, which he believed highlighted how they were trying to destroy his life.
I've had enough of the way yous are going on. I've had enough, right? She is an absolute liar. I can prove it, right? At no point have I raised my voice or intimidated her or mentioned where she lives or mentioned about how much money she gets, and I can prove this 100%. It's not a fuzzy recording, it's absolute crystal clarity. Special notes, social services are
Due to a number of domestic incidents, social workers considered him to pose an unpredictable and violent threat. Moat's conviction for assault on a child meant it was the first time he'd been banged up. But while he was inside, it seemed those around him took their chance to break free from his controlling influence.
They've told me he wasn't getting these kids back, and his kids mean everything to him, and then they've told him they were taking his house away, so he didn't have a home, he's lost his business, and then he was being locked up.
Moat's friends say he felt his world was collapsing around him. Then Samantha Stobbart, his partner of 6 years and mother of one of his children, broke up with him while he was behind bars.
I think it needs to be pointed out they'd been living apart for quite a while, but I think in Sam's mind, she wanted a complete severance of the relationship, and him being in prison gave her that opportunity, and she took that opportunity on phone calls to remind him that the relationship was finished, it was over, it was final.
On her Facebook page, Samantha revised her relationship status to single.
Raoul Moat's relationships with women were very troubled. Every relationship he had was characterised by violence. In relation to Samantha Stobbart, in his own words, he never punched her. He slapped her, he admitted pushing her, he roughed her up, but because he never punched her, he thought that was okay.
Samantha came to my place on a few occasions when Raoul had hit her, and I would ask her not to go back, but she would always go back. He would come and pick her up and make her go back. So I was glad he was in prison, and I was glad for Samantha he was in prison, because it was her chance to break free from him and get away and move on with her life.
Knowing Moat could be violent, Samantha warned him that her new partner, Christopher Brown, was a karate instructor and was more than capable of looking after himself.
She uses terms like he's a handy lad, he'll put you on his arse, and some of our terminology is quite, you could argue it's quite inflammatory. There's no doubt that she lived in fear of Moat, and she was trying to sort of put some distance between the two, in my mind.
Apparently his cellmates and that saw a real change in his demeanour and the way he was. You know, he was. I mean, you're not going to be happy-go-lucky in prison, but he was. You know, he's reasonably cheerful and friendly. And when he got this phone call, he just changed. Just really, really knocked him for six.
Christopher Brown, despite his physical prowess, was a gentleman to those who knew him.
My son Christopher, he was very happy-go-lucky. He was a joy to be with. He was always making you laugh. He was just a lad enjoying life.
Christopher, how can you describe him? Very larger than life. Always laughing. I think I've seen him angry probably 5 times in our whole growing up together, and he's just, everything was funny to him. Everything.
But crucially, in a move that sent her ex ballistic, Samantha told the imprisoned Moat that her younger, fitter new boyfriend was also a police officer. She was trying to warn him off, but it was a red rag to a bull like Moat.
Samantha would have told Raoul that he was a police officer because Samantha was so scared, and she maybe would have thought that if she says that, he would leave her alone.
Given Moat's simmering hatred of the police, the thought that one of his worst enemies was with his girl pushed him to boiling point. And so, while inside, Moat ordered up a shotgun.